10 interview questions for GIS management jobs. That's why you're here. That's what you're going to be hearing for the next few moments from me. This was a presentation I did last week at the Inland Empire GIS Users Group meeting, and it kind of went by wildfire on LinkedIn, and people really want this information, so I figured what better way than let's make a GIS leadership lunch and learn about it. So welcome to the Lunch and Learn. My name is Toby Soto. I am your host. I am also the blogger behind MuniGovGuide.com, and I'm here to provide you as much information as possible about GIS leadership and management through the experiences that I've gone through and the conversations I've had with other industry experts. So today, as I stated earlier, I'm going to provide you 10 interview questions for GIS management positions. This is something that's really important to a lot of people that are trying to progress in their career. And I wish I would have had this information when I first started out interviewing for management positions, because it would have really saved me a lot of heartache. Just as a bonus, at the very end of this video, I will provide you 3 interview tips. Anyways, when I was a GIS manager when I was a GIS analyst and I was in the industry for about 4 or 5 years, I decided to try to take that leap and go into GIS management. So I applied for a position down in the San Diego area for a GIS manager. And I felt very technically strong at that point in time in my career. Everything was kind of Unix based, so I had a lot of Unix system administration under my belts. And being in GIS for 5 years, I felt pretty confident that I had a shot. Anyways, first interview came around. It was all technical. I was able to blow through that interview no problem, and I got called in for the second interview. And that's where my trouble started. As soon as they went into the management questions, I just started to crumble because I did not have the answers. I did not have that experience and knowledge that I needed to portray and give out to the interview panel. So hopefully my experiences are going to help you. When you're getting ready for these interviews, we've all been there. We're all nervous. We're all kind of concerned, what questions are they going to ask? How are they going to look at me? And, am I going to, stutter on everything? Am I going to not really provide everything that I need to provide to really show my experience? So, we've all been there, but, half the battle in your interview is to be prepared, because once you're prepared, you'll be much more confident and you'll be able to express your experience, your job knowledge, and that will come across. So let's move forward. So number 1, how do you stay current with the evolving GIS technology? It's a very good question. Most interview panels want to know, what are you doing to keep pushing yourself and learning the new technology? Because as you know, just within the past 5 years, this technology has just done a 180. Especially with the cloud and hosted services and integration with all these other environments, reading in APIs and web services. You need to be able to keep progressing, because this technology is not slowing down anytime soon. State that you're probably going to user group meetings, or you're attending the Esri MOOCs, or you're in some sort of beta testing group, or maybe in some non-profit organization that you're providing your talents to. Something that really shows that you're progressing and you're trying to move yourself forward and learn as much as you can about GIS technology. Question number 2, what projects are you most proud of, and what was your role in the project? Perfect question, because this allows you to really unwind and display what projects you have worked with that you're most proud of, The great thing is that there's probably a lot of information that you want to provide, which is really good. You definitely want to give context to the project. But what happens is that a lot of people forget that second part of that question, which is what is your role in the project? Most people go into all the project details, that the project did this, the project did that, but then we got to know what you're doing. We got to know what your role was. Some people make it sound like they're managing the whole project itself, when in actuality they were just managing maybe a little portion of it. So we need to know that. It would be good to know. The third one, describe the PMI PMBOK stages of a typical GIS implementation, and what would a GIS manager's role be in those stages. So this kind of separates the people from the newbies to the more experienced GIS managers. You definitely want to know that there's the initiation, there's the planning, the execution, the monitoring and controlling, and the closing. You at least want to know those 5 stages in the PMI PMBOK project management. You may want to provide context on what project that you've worked on to those PMI stages, or if you have no project experience, at least know what they are, and you can at least know the terminology. The fourth question, how do you maximize the potential of your employees? So this is a great leadership question, because we want to know, what are you doing to maximize those employees? Do you create some sort of leadership program? Have you brought people up to their most potential based on some sort of program that you're putting them through, whether it's let's say you provided some in-house training, or you've sent them out to outside training, or you have some sort of program in-house that elevates their status. For like example, at the City of Riverside, we have this Kaizen Kaizen project, where we list 3 things that we're good at, and we also list 3 things that we're not so good at that we want to work on. And throughout the course of the year, we do things to help improve ourselves. And that's actually how this whole MuniGov guy started, is because I really wanted to get out there and do some editorials about GIS, and then that just kind of spurred into the website and vlogging and guest posting and things like that. So anyways, definitely show what you're doing to allow your staff to maximize their potential. Number 5, what would you do the first 60 days if you were employed? So be realistic. Don't say that you're going to just change the organization, you're going to flip it upside down, you're going to optimize everything. Because realistically, 60 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, that question kind of comes in different contexts. But really, realistically, is that you're going to come into the organization, you're going to kind of try to see what they're doing, where's the data, how is it processed, who are you supporting, what applications are there, how old are the applications, does anything need to be upgraded? So you're really just doing a complete assessment during that entire time. You can do minor tweaks here and there to try to make things a little more efficient. But this is all in that planning stage. So be realistic. Just don't say that you're going to change everything and make everyone be in utopia in GIS. So that's just not going to happen during that frame of time. So a quick recap. First question is, how do you stay current with the evolving GIS technology? What projects are you most proud of? And what was your role in the project? Third one, describe the PMI PMBOK stages of a typical GIS implementation. Fourth, how do you maximize the potential of your employees? And number 5, what would you do the first 60 days if you were employed? So those are the first 5 questions that we've gone through. Again, at the end of this video, I'll provide you 3 interview tips. So let's move on. So number 6, what one personal trait of yours do you consider the weakest? Please don't say none, because everyone knows that's a lie. everyone has a weakness, whether you're weak in programming or weak in documentation, or weak in you work too hard or work too less. I don't know. I'm just saying something there. But anyways, just don't say none. And whatever weakness that you do provide, let them know that you're working on eliminating that weakness or reducing that weakness, whether it's through classes or side reading or some way of showing that you're trying to improve on that weakness. So that's very important to represent that. So number 7, what do you offer to this position that would make me want to hire you? So this is that question where you can really unload again a lot of your experience. Show us what separates you from other people and why you feel that you deserve this position. And you should just have a laundry list of things that you can discuss that shows your experience and your strengths. You really want to convey that information over. Just don't say a lot of you-knows and things like that, because that does not convey what you know. Here, I just said it myself. Anyways, so you definitely want to convey that information and get that over to the interview panel. Because again, remember one thing too is during these government interviews, we have to ask a certain specific set of questions, and we have to ask those questions to everybody that comes into that interview. And so it makes it a little more difficult, and we're a little more restricted to help drill down into your answers. So try to have your answers as complete as possible, because we are very limited to try to keep drilling you to try to find out where is that gem of information that you're trying to convey. Number 8, where do you see yourself career-wise in 5 years? So most leaders and managers already have that laid out, where they want to be. So you should already have in your mind and in your pocket to say, hey, this is where I want to be in 5 years. I want to be a senior project manager or a senior GIS manager, or maybe you want to be a GIO, or just know where you want to be in 5 years and convey that information over to the interview panel. Number 9, what has been one of your most challenging GIS projects to manage? Walk me through how you resolve the problems. The reason why that question is asked is, obviously you can again bring out another project that you've worked on that you're really proud of, and then also show that challenge that you've encountered and how you overcame that. And we asked you to go through that step by step, so that way we can kind of understand your decision making and your methodology in solving problems. That gives us a lot of insight about how you are as a manager. Number 10. Okay, here we go. Can you give me the names of 4 people whose careers you have fundamentally improved? I cannot take credit for this question. I got this from Inc. magazine, and it kind of was talking about those that are givers and takers. And so I thought this was a really good question, because if you're a really true leader, you know that you have changed people along the way through your journey. So if you can provide 4 people, that really shows that you can make a change. You have fundamentally changed people's lives and what you're trying to achieve through GIS. So that's the 10 questions. So my promise, I said I would give you 3 bonus interview tips. So the first interview tip: definitely smile. You gotta smile, because smiling is just so infectious. If someone smiles at you, you can't help but feel happy and know that, hey, that person is really joyful and kind of really a nice person to be around. The second one would be learn as much as possible about the employer. Know, what version of GIS they're running. Know what their strategic plan is, know where they're headed, know what projects they could be working on, know their budgetary figures. All that information is very helpful because your answers can then be tailored towards their strategies. And so, and it really shows a lot of initiative if you know more about them than they know themselves. And so definitely go in, whether you have to look at their board agendas and board minutes or their financial statements, all that stuff is online. So definitely go online and search them out so that way you are fully prepared. Number 3, try to have multiple projects in your bag. When you keep being asked questions about projects through the interview, don't just provide that one project that you're most proud of. Have multiple projects. Have multiple projects to show that you are diverse and that you've had experience in other projects and not just that one project. Because if you keep bringing that one project up, they're going to think that's the only project you've ever worked on. So definitely show that you have variety in different projects that you've worked on in GIS, whether it's data conversion, application development, integration, you name it. Just make sure you provide detailed information about it. So that's it. That's it for this week's edition of GIS Lunch and Learn. It's a little late. It's not Wednesday. It's Friday, but work has been very hectic here, and I really wanted to get this information out to you. I hope it's been informational to you, and I hope it prepares you to help crush that next interview that you have for GIS management. If you have interview questions that you've experienced in the past, I would love to hear about them. Put them in the comments so that everyone can learn and we can all grow together and improve our interview experience. Also, so for more leadership, GIS leadership management and information, go to minigovguide.com. You can also check here every Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. And definitely, if you want to keep getting notified of these interviews, not interviews, but these lunch and learns, definitely subscribe, whether it's on minigovguide.com or even YouTube. So thank you, everybody, and I will catch you next time.